Hi everybody, welcome back to Rewrites. Today, we are going to be talking about Avengers, and I'm probably pretty late to the party here. You've had countless YouTubers complain about Captain Marvel. You've had countless YouTubers talk about how she's the champion of the MCU. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle ground, and I feel like the Avengers movie did her real wrong. So let's talk about that. I was actually on the CinemaSins channel watching the Captain Marvel CinemaSins, and someone commented on there about she didn't need to be the hero that saved Tony Stark, and the question was, well, who else would do it? Who else could do that? And so I replied, it was a long reply. You can go and check it out. This video is going to be pretty much verbatim what I told that person. And basically it comes down to who else could have saved Tony Stark other than Captain Marvel. And their argument was that Thor can't breathe in space, which I don't know that that's been established ever. I think probably the opposite of that Thor has shown he can breathe in space. And now with Stormbreaker, he has access to the Rainbow Road, the Bifrost. But we're going to skip over that. We're going to pretend Thor cannot breathe in space. Because in my mind, Rocket Raccoon should have found them. Rocket Raccoon could have picked up on the last known location of where the Guardians of the Galaxy were, and he could have gone and searched within, based on what he knows the ship can handle, and he could have found them within probably a lot longer amount of time than Captain Marvel found them, but he still could have found them. And the response to this was, well, how is he going to fly? Well, he's in Wakanda. Like, at the end of Infinity War, he's in Wakanda, surrounded by Thanos' armies, destroyed spaceships, and he's even got Iron Man's tech nearby that he can get to space. Like, he can borrow a Wakandan ship, he can borrow, we're using that term loosely, it is Rocket Raccoon. He can take some of the wreckage from Thanos' army. I'd be even on board seeing Rocket refashion the Hulkbuster armor into something that he could wear. I think that would be pretty awesome. I tried doing a YouTube search for that to see if anyone else has come up with fan art. No. The answer is no. So if you're out there and you want to draw me a Hulkbuster Rocket Raccoon suit, that'd be fantastic. But anyway, so I think the solution for Rocket getting to Tony Stark is easy. My big question is, why did Captain Marvel need to be the hero there? See, when Captain Marvel comes in, she's looking for Fury and she's looking for Thanos. She's not looking for Avengers. Honestly, from the impression she gives me, she kind of acts like the Avengers are just baggage that she has to carry around. In her mind, she even tells them, the reason you didn't beat Thanos is because you didn't have me. The reason you will win this time is because you have me. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with her coming in, being the strongest Avenger on the team. Like, I was on board for that. But again, I think the movie did her wrong. I really think they did. And here's why. She did not come in as a hero. She came in as I don't want to use the term Mary Sue, but she did. She came in as a Mary Sue, and the problem was they had to write her out of the whole movie because they didn't know what to do with her. So here's what we could do to fix that a little bit. Now, in my mind, when Captain Marvel comes in, again, Rocket should be preparing to go find Tony. He doesn't know he's finding Tony. He thinks he's looking for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Bottom line, Rocket Raccoon should be the one preparing to do that. Captain Marvel should be on her own looking for anything left behind from Fury. She's got to have it in her mind that Fury would have prepared for this, which he did because he's Fury. So we see her stumble upon a hologram of him, kind of a, if you're seeing this, then I'm dead cliche. And, if we want to explore that a bit further, when Tony Stark is back, she can be watching it again. She's feeling sentimental or something. She can be going to watch it again because she's getting discouraged. And Tony Stark could stumble upon her and tell her how played out he thinks the "if you're watching this, then I'm dead" cliche is. And that can kind of point to his future, "if you're watching this, then I'm dead," that he leaves for his daughter. But I digress. Anyway, so Captain Marvel finds this, and it's from Fury telling her, "The Avengers are the Earth's best hope. You've got to keep them together." And from there, Captain Marvel actually has a reason to stay with the team. Because at this point, she doesn't think she has a reason. She thinks she could take out Thanos on her own. The Avengers are beneath her. I'm not really sure what motivates her to fly out, pick up Tony Stark. They don't even know Tony's alive. They really don't. I mean, they don't seem to have any sort of indication that he's actually out there. They're just kind of on a whim, hoping he's there. So I think that after she has this moment with Fury's hologram, I feel like she should go back to the team, see the work that Rocket is doing to go find his friends, and she says, "Look, I can do it faster, better, and you won't have to waste your time building this spaceship. Let me go look for them." And it could be her way of ingratiating herself to the team. She's this nobody. But what she does instead is she shows up out of nowhere. She rescues our damsel in distress, that's Iron Man. And then she kind of has a little stare down with Thor, and suddenly she's the newest member of the Avengers. And I just don't feel like that's enough. I don't feel like I just don't see that being a good way to join the team for her. I feel like it could have been done better. So if she'd come in with the goal from Fury to keep the Avengers together, it would have made her this surrogate leader that we were looking for at that time. We're looking for who's the next Fury, who's the next Iron Man. Most of us had it in our head that Captain America was going to be phased out. Who's going to be the next Captain America? And she would kind of come in and fill all of those roles by caring for the team and saying, "No, let me do this. Let me help you." Now from there, obviously she has to get written out of the movie. The directors don't know what to do with her because she's too strong. And I'm actually fine with that. I'm fine with her taking a step back and letting the other Avengers kind of finish out their arc. But she needs a good reason for leaving. She doesn't need to leave because this is happening in all the rest of the universe, and I'm going to leave, but I'm going to show up again right when you need me because reasons. Again, the because reasons thing, that's what's wrong with Captain Marvel's storyline. She needed to show up in the beginning, ingratiate herself to the team, establish herself as one of the leaders. And like I said, maybe even later on we could see her getting a pep talk from Iron Man where, she doesn't know if she can handle this new leadership role, and he comes in and he kind of hands the torch over to her like, "Look, I'm back. People are going to be looking to me to lead, but I'm going to give it to you." And I think that would have been a really nice way to bring her on and just establish her as this new champion of the MCU. And looking at the end of the final battle scene where Doctor Strange is holding up the column of water that he could have dealt with some other way. The moment where Captain Marvel returns, where she comes back in her blaze of glory, she doesn't really have a reason to return, other than maybe she was flying past Earth every now and then to check on it and just happened to come at the perfect time, which, sure, it's happened before. But I think there's something better that could have been done if she had stayed out of the fight. And the thing is, they didn't need her to come back. They really didn't. When she comes back, it's because Wanda is just destroying Thanos. And he says, make it rain, and they bring the rockets, and they shoot up the field. Okay, but Doctor Strange and his sorcerers could have opened up 1,000 sling ring portals and redirected those rockets. And Wanda could have finished snapping Thanos like a twig, and that would have been that. That would have been it. Iron Man would still be alive, which would be great. Thanos would be dead, not snapped away, but just as effective. In my mind, what we could do with Captain Marvel, instead of having her return, is set up this next phase where she is the champion of the MCU. So roll credits, Thanos is defeated, we're all alright, everyone's happy. Maybe we have a funeral for the Vision, since he's just forgotten. And then we have an end credit scene, which I know the directors didn't want. They didn't want an end credit scene, so they would have had to have one for this to work out. And they wanted their femme fatale pose in the middle of the fight, which without Captain Marvel there, they wouldn't have been able to have that. So there's two reasons why the directors wouldn't ever go for this. But yeah, so end credit scene, we see Captain Marvel just kind of hovering in space, watching in horror as Galactus is devouring a planet. And then it kind of switches and we see Captain Marvel from his eyes, and we see the energy radiating off of her. And then she just books it. She gets out of there. She flies away. And as the picture fades to black, we see the silver blur streaking after her. And obviously that's the Silver Surfer following behind her, leading Galactus to wherever she stops. I think that would be really powerful because, based on what I'm seeing, a lot of people want to see Galactus as the next MCU big bad guy. And I think it would do a lot to honor Captain Marvel as a character, to have her be the reason Galactus has his eyes set on Earth, because she is powerful. That is something we need to deal with, that she has more raw power than anyone else we've seen so far in the MCU, and we have to figure out ways of dealing with that don't include send her away for reasons and then bring her back when we need a hero. She needs a better story than that. And so in my mind, this is the better story, where she's out helping the galaxy, and she stumbles upon this force, this power that's enough to scare even her, enough that she runs away from it, and it chases after her because it wants her power. I think that'd be a really cool way to introduce Captain Marvel to the MCU. She's already been introduced, but to really cement her onto the team. She comes in as the compassionate leader who's helping keep the team together. Then she goes out because she knows the snap has happened everywhere. There are planets out there that need help. So she's going out to help where she can, stumbles upon this horrible sight, and just kind of champions the next phase of the MCU. I think that would have been a really, really cool way to handle her character in this film. I think it would have done a lot more justice in the final battle against Thanos, because really there are so many characters in that fight that weren't used to their full potential because the directors wanted to get everyone in and let everyone have their punches. It just didn't make sense. I have a lot of issues with how Thor was handled. He's actually going to be in one of my next videos. Doctor Strange I've already talked about, just holding up the water. There are ways that could have been dealt with. And it just wasn't dealt with because they wanted this environment where each hero could have their punch and no one could really seem superior over the others. But yeah, I think, honestly, give Wanda the victory in that fight. Let her, at the very least, get Thanos to a point where he can't really fight back anymore. Because she was getting there. I mean, she was going to be able to end that fight, basically. And then if you need Iron Man to be the one to come in and step in and say, I'm Iron Man, and finish it, then let him do that. But we didn't need Captain Marvel to come in and be the hero, is what I'm trying to say. And it would have set her up better as the champion of the MCU to be out there starting the next phase. Bringing in Galactus. That would have been so cool. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you think way on left field? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff you're supposed to say at the end of your videos. Thanks.